let's just sew whatever. I am so excited today to cut the Mr. Heckles handbag from Sincerely Jen Pattern Company. As always, her names are friends, references, and I may not understand all of them, but I definitely get a chuckle each time. So today I am using this red glitter vinyl that I carry on my website. I always get the flawed rolls from work, and this one just needs to be wiped down. So hopefully this doesn't happen to you, but if you get a roll of vinyl that is part of our Ace glitter line and it has like a film or coating to it, it truly just needs a wipe down. You can always reach out to us because you did not get a perfect roll, and that is not okay with us. So we'd love to make it right for you. Just throwing that out there. I am going to start by cutting out my straps and connectors. I've got my heat press going, but I really just want to kind of start with the excess pieces. So handles, these are little grab handles. So if you prefer something a little bit longer, you could cut it a little bit bigger. They are still 1 inch wide. I had someone ask me for my tips and tricks for cutting quicker, and I think that would be using the rotary cutter as much as you can make things go quick, but the biggest thing too is time. Like cutting out lots and lots and trying to figure out what will help you make it faster is kind of my biggest suggestion, really, is finding new techniques that will work for you. I also like to make sure that I have cut lists in place so that I know what all I need to cut. So these are a measurement, very similar to this ruler. So I can just cut those. And then you want to measure all those in to the center. And learning how to use a rotary cutter, I would say you want to have consistent pressure, and it's all about the angle at which you hold it. So I kind of hold it not straight like this, but kind of up, and I use my finger here to help me guide it. That may not feel natural to everybody, and it, I don't know, may not be the right way to do it, but it is how I do it. Excuse you. Okay. Sewing can go faster if you're finding the centers. So measuring your centers and even adding tape to pieces can just make things go a lot quicker at the sewing machine. So keep that in mind. Handle connectors. Okay. So this bag has handle connectors on the side that gets sewn onto the bag, and then there is an overlay on the side panel. This bag does not have pockets on the side panel, but I believe it could. Just like, do I have any scraps of fabric? I can wipe this down. So I got my crossbody connectors, side panel accent. I'm not going to be able to use that ruler. Templates also help cutting go way faster. So that is something to consider as well. Ooh, adjustable crossbody strap. I think I'm going to go ahead and use webbing for that. And then zipper panels and zipper tab. I'm going to do the zipper panel not out of vinyl. I think that'll be just way too much. So that is pretty much it out of the additional cut list that I can do. I'm going to set that over there. This is my bottom panel, side panel, or the exterior side. For the bag that I saw that Jenny made, she did the entire exterior out of the medium weight printed vinyl and then accented with some glitter. I don't think I want my exterior side to be the print. I want it to be this vinyl. And I do have enough. This is the lining top. And then I got my bottom panel here. So you could absolutely use the pattern piece to cut the bottom panel. I don't want to. I prefer to use my rotary cutter and ruler for as much as possible. I just feel like it goes quicker and it's a little more exact. So 1, 2, 3, 5. All of the Decoville pieces are cut 5/8 inch smaller on all sides, so keep that in mind. Okay, so this piece is going to get Decoville heavy, so I can set that on my heat press, and then after that I just need lining for that piece. We've got our exterior side and our lining top. This is not a rectangle, but I can measure out the height and width to kind of cut or measure a rectangle and then trace that angled side. So that's going to make it go a lot faster as well. Okay. So I cut out the piece all together. I'm going to cut out the height. Oh, crud. I did indeed cut that wrong, but that's okay. This is accurate. This piece is not. So then I can line this up and cut that angle. And it's really a very gentle angle, but I'm also going to mark out my center just so I have it. And then I can cut off the extra there. I had to completely recut that piece because I didn't even measure it correctly widthwise. Just saying. Doing great. So now I'll have a little excess to cut off, which is fine. So just be careful that you're marking which way is up for that slightly angled top edge. It really is just ever so gently sloped. So I marked the center and then I added a little up arrow to know that is the top. And this is our lining top edge. I don't believe it needs any interfacing. And this bag could be made as a drop-in lining, or you could turn the bag through the bottom of the opening in the lining, or if you're old school and you want to turn it through your zipper pocket, you can do that as well. All right, so those are my two lining top pieces. So I'm going to clip that. I don't have any clips. Who am I? I don't even know who I am anymore. We'll clip it later. So now the last piece that I have in my exterior pile is my exterior side panel. I do have enough. Curious. I had originally hoped to cut these out of the other side so that they would be in reverse order, but it is what it is. And so if you have trouble cutting your pieces with a nice straight, like if you have trouble tracing them, you can use your rotary cutter. Nope, your ruler, to just measure out the outside edge and line up that ruler with it to give you the straightest edge possible. Sometimes if you're just tracing the pattern piece, especially for that center fold, I can find things tend to want to shift, what have you. So there you go. Oh, that's so cute. I love the size of this bag. So this is the bottom, nice wide bottom. This is the side. I don't know what I'm saying. We'll get through this, it's fine. When I am using the rotary cutter, my eye, let's see, where is my eye? My eye is not necessarily on the blade, it's on the pen line, and I'm just following the edge of the rotary cutter with it. So there is our side panel, which is going to get some Decaville light. And for that, you're going to be using the dashed line on the pattern piece. If you're not a fan of that, print out another set of the pattern pieces. There aren't that many, and then just cut it on the dashed line yourself. And it'll be like magic. So now that I have those weights, the pattern weights on my fabric, that is a huge help to keep everything in line as I'm tracing. And if you don't have templates and you're just using paper, I love using cardstock to print my patterns out on. It's so much easier to trace. I know people who also just like to laminate their pattern pieces or use really cheap cutting mats to create template pieces. Whatever works. I'm going to do a really quick press on these to get them to stop rolling. They've been on my shelf for a while. Alright, so that is it for the exterior. This piece will now need lining. I just emptied out my scrap bin too, so it's kind of satisfying to throw all that in there. Alright, we're going to move on to cutting out our exterior. Now there's an exterior front, exterior back bottom, and then exterior back top. Here it is. If you wanted 2 slip pockets on your bag, you could absolutely skip the exterior front. Oh wait, no, I don't need lining of this because it's all one big piece. Okay. You could absolutely skip doing the front and do 2 so that you have both slip pockets and you have both panels top stitched correctly. Not correctly, but the same. The same goes for if you don't want your slip pocket. If you just want the front to be sleek, simple, easy, you could do that as well. Just a thought. I'm seriously tempted to do both sides with the slip pocket, but I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so this is the top. It is slanted to the bottom. When you're cutting on the fold, you want to make sure you've got your fold nice and straight. And again, if you do not want to cut on the fold, then you can print 2 sets of your pattern. You could print 4 sets of your pattern, and then you'd have a interfacing set that is not cut on the fold, and then you'd have an exterior set that is not cut on the fold. Personally, I'm going to buy templates. So there's the front. And that I am going to interface with Decaville Heavy. Nope, Light. Decaville Light, as instructed. You can fold on the dashed line, because I only need one of these. So that's going to go in my Decaville Light pile. Okay. Exterior, back, bottom. And then in case you're confused about where things go, you can add a little arrow at the top. Just make sure you're marking within your seam allowance just in case. Exterior, back, top. Now this will not be fussy cut the way I am cutting it because it's a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So if you're wanting to have that be a seamless transition, you'll want to kind of cut in separate places to match it up. And so again, top, and you could write zip, well, it's not a zipper, but yeah, this is bottom. And so the way these pieces go together is it's folded about 1/2 inch up with top stitched on both top and bottom, and then you've got slip pocket pieces right in between our overlaid handles. So pretty cool. We can fold these pieces down. Again, none of these are rectangles, so we can't just write out a measurement to cut to. And you might think like, oh, I don't actually need to trim it. You do. You do need to trim it. Otherwise your seams are going to be way too bulky, and that would not be good. Okay. So from my exterior fabric, I'm also going to be cutting, oh, I forgot my zipper overlay. I am going to be cutting my zipper panel. I'm tempted to say folding this one Might not be worth it, but I think I can get it. There's that. Crossbody strap. Okay, zipper panels. And then the zipper tab I'm not doing. I will just be using zipper end hardware. Ooh, no, that's not long enough. I was gonna say I could do the crossbody strap with like webbing and fabric. So webbing on one side, fabric on the other. I don't think that's long enough though. Ooh, sorry. No, it's only like 49 inches. So it wouldn't be an everybody friendly strap. It is a very skinny zipper panel. Okay. Normally my table is much cleaner than this, but sadly it is not today. Okay. And now another time-saving trick while you're here is to mark 1 inch along the sides. Space is too messy. Can't do it. You could also use the method of just having one folded edge and the other one is kind of folded on itself. And to do that, you would just subtract your seam allowance from one side and add them together. that is my zipper panel. Okay, so that is it for the measure and cut extra list. I still need my zipper overlay, which is an actual pattern piece given as well, in case you're like, but wait, where is it? I am going to cut my own. That's not the right size. But like I said, there is a pattern piece included for it, if you prefer to do it that way. My formula is to add 1.5 inches to the size of the zipper pocket. So let's say it's a 7-inch by 1/2 inch. You would then cut it to 9.5 by 2. And I'm going to be measuring 3/4 of an inch from all sides. I start with the short edges, and then I move to the long edges, and for the long edges I'll use the rotary cutter to cut out the inside. And you don't want to use the rotary cutter like a pizza cutter. You just want to go in the same direction out. You don't want to wiggle it back and forth. And make sure you're using sharp scissors to cut that extra. I don't always meet the line, but I just gently cut to it and then across it. And then I have my overlay. And then if you want to, you can add some double-sided tape while you're at your cutting table. And you're just going to add that to the top edge and the bottom edge, just the outermost edges. Voila. So now I have from exterior, front, sides, back bottom, back top, no strap, bottom panel, connectors, handles, connectors, side panel, and zipper overlay. So we can move on to our lining and deck of the light. I will probably cut my lining last because I don't need to add any interfacing to that. So then I would be able to turn off my heat press. So I'm going to grab my Decaville Heavy and cut that. There is no measurement as of now in the pattern for that piece. Like I said, you're just going to it's 5/8, so 10 divided by 8. 1.25 inches smaller than the measurement given for the bottom panel. All right, give these another press. So I've got the interfacing for my bottom panel ready to go. If you're worried about it shifting while you're pressing it, you could even use a little piece of double-sided tape. If you need the bottom of your bag to be a little more firm, you could even add another layer of Decaville Heavy or add some extra structure and add foam. Nice. Okay, so that is my bottom panel. I still need my lining. Fusible woven interfacing, I'm not adding any. Decaville Heavy, I've got it cut, and then Decaville Light. So I'm going to go ahead and clean up my space a little bit, and then we'll start cutting the light. I totally lied. I don't have my Decaville Light here. So I'm going to cut out my lining, and then later today or tomorrow, I'll get that Decaville Light done. But I'm going to just set this in a pile for now. I really need a clip to get my life together. Might need that, but I don't right now. So the way the lining looks is really interesting to me. It makes me excited to put the bag together, but I'm just like, what? So I'm using water-resistant canvas. I think this color is called Fiery Red or Fiery Rose. I don't recall. But this is a lightweight lining fabric that I carry on my website, so it's definitely domestic friendly. It's probably not great, I should say I know it's not great for heavy duty industrials, like the Thor 1541, 1341, it would just eat that up. I would like to just gently press the water-resistant canvas. So I finally got my Decaville Light and I finished cutting out my lining pieces. I just did a quick time lapse of this because Dorothy was playing in the basement too, and I can't really film when she's down there, but I just fused it on for about 10 seconds each panel and then let it set for a while before I sewed it. But I'll see you in the next one for sewing. Yay!